Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 10 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, September 19th. So, the next day after the Fed. So, as we look at yesterday's session, right, just traipsing along, going, almost nowhere. The Fed comes out, you get a little pop, a little drop, come right back down to the bottom of the range and close on the lows, right? So, nothing really to see here. Move on. So what does that do to structure? Uh, and this is a pattern that I'll probably end up having to put a name to as well. Maybe Steve can help me out since he's good at dropping some names here for me, or Van or someone. But if you notice where the value area blocks are, and this is a trade I've been taking in the overnight sessions quite a few times in the last 2 months. Uh, when we are near the lows of a swing, and you get this value area uh, like it is, and you close at the very bottom or underneath value, you almost always get a rotation up overnight, at least into the middle of value, if not up towards the top of value area high. That and your risk to reward is basically against those lows. So you can pick an entry, but that's the plan to go. So not only did we do that, but we did more, and we'll get into that in a second. Obviously, I'm sure you guys already know. Bank of England did nothing this morning. I don't think this was a live meeting for them. There was no press conference scheduled. Some of you guys might be if you're newer to trading, you probably don't know, but the FOMC meetings used to only be live on the quarterly meetings. Anything that wasn't a quarterly meeting wasn't live, and they usually never did anything. If there was going to be anything that happened in between the quarterly meetings, it never happened on the off meetings. And if something was going to happen, it would be an off scheduled event. They would just do it. Uh, raise or drop rates. So long story short, the Bank of England say, Pat, they're at 5%. The uh, FOMC is at 4.75. I'm not sure where the ECB is. Maybe I should know that, but I don't. But they're all around 5% now after being slightly above it in the past. But the Bank of England had already cut, once earlier this year already. So as we, look down, keep in mind tomorrow is quad witch. I have not done well trading those the last two times, so I'm taking tomorrow off as far as trading goes. I'll be in the morning to do a little technical analysis, but no trades for me tomorrow. And then as we look at what else is on deck, there's really not anything else on deck today. So I think we beat that up. Looking at positioning on the Qs, right? We closed at 471 on the Qs. We're currently trading 481. So that's $10 move overnight on the Qs. So you can see that if you don't need to even trade against the whole whatever the move, you're just trading against 480 at this point in time. Uh, if you're long, or if you're just waiting on an entry to get short, you want to see the futures cross under 480 and go down, and then you can try to sell something at that point in time after it's below 40. But to try to sell it from where we are now to 480, I don't think taking a counter trying to move for less than a dollar when we've moved $10 is a smart plan. Uh, and then we'll have to see what goes on. And then if you look at tomorrow's expiration, you can see the big strikes are all on the fives. 475 being the largest open interest for the calls and the puts, and then you got 480, 485. So 485 is probably the lid. So that'd be about another 160 points up higher than we are right now. That would be pretty much exhausting, I think, for the futures. If you could go up another 160 points, I really don't know that you can, to be honest with you. Uh, Looking at the SPY is trading After closing at 471, it's trading 481. Uh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. After closing at 561, it's trading at 570 now. You can see that that is the large gamma, this 570 for the week right here, and we're just right on it. So that's going to be, that's what drew us up here, basically, in my opinion. So now we'll just have to see, uh, what we get. Uh, what we get, uh, if that's going to be your marker. So above there, you can, slide up a little bit farther, but below there, it's I would say 566, about 40 points down, would be around the marker that you're looking at. Uh, for the first retracement, and then you just have to take it from there. Looking at the cash, there's really nothing to be seen here on the cash. There's nothing that really stands out. I mean, you don't. There's nothing really big until you get up to, 5,700 or down to 5,600, and we're about at 5,700 right now. So again, those big strikes drew us up there in the overnight session. Looking at where we're at on the continuous contract, the continuous contract's making another new high, blah, 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 blah. Our point of control is basically 5,700 for 1, 2, 3 days in a row. And now, we're, 68 points above there going right now. Looking at just the specific contract that we're on, you can see how far away we are uh, from the all-time high for the Nasdaq, right? It's got room to go before it even gets anywhere sniffs the all-time high. While the ES, it's within a shot right now. So I would watch, to be honest with you, look above this all-time high and there's maybe come back in a little bit since the Nasdaq's nowhere near. It doesn't mean that it can't go, but you're with all the positioning that we looked at, it's all right around in here for the like the max that they thought it would be. And you have to assume that some of those were short calls. People felt pretty cocky on selling. I don't think they're long calls, to be honest with you. Uh, but it doesn't matter. But that's going to be your flip point is right around this all-time high. Let's just call it 5,800 in the futures. So that'll be about another 32 points higher than we are right now. And then I think you might get a little bit of a stall for the Nasdaq. I mean, you can get up to you know 2,160 to 2,250. That 90-point range should be where resistance is if we on the other side. On the check back though, and what I like for a pullback is right around 57.25 for the futures on the ES should be the base. It should be a decent base at this point in time. If it not, you're in trouble for a substantial pullback if you can't, respond somewhere near that area. And for the Nasdaq, that's going to be right around 19,900 down to I would say 19,800. So you got that 100 points should be your mattress of support, and then we'll just have to see what we get after that. Looking at the overnight, 88 points for the ES, and you can see we are starting to you know some traders are probably getting nervous coming into the opening bell, starting to maybe take a little bit off. You can see that they're doing that a little bit more and everything except for the Nasdaq so far, and then we'll go from there. But these single prints that are older, the top of those single prints, let's just read the levels here. You're looking at 916 to 945 basically is where those are, and that wouldn't be too much of a retracement to get back in there, and that would be above yesterday's high. There's no way, unless it's just gonna be shit show, that we should end up trading the settlement or gap fill. Right, we're 400 points up. If you get a gap fill, uh, there's no way you're not going down another 300 points, in my opinion. If we end up doing there should be, lots of, just sheer panic setting in after if it pops and flops. So I guess my long-winded speech here this morning is what I'm getting to is what I think you're going to end up seeing is you're going to end up seeing some type of a pop and hold. You're probably going to get some minor retracements. We are up, 400 points in the Nasdaq. We're up, 87, 88 points in the ES. You're probably going to at least get a third of it back at some point today. I just don't know if you're even going to get half of it back. Have a good day, trade safe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow morning.